More than 1,100 years have passed since the death of Jayavarman II. Of the magnificent temples built after his reign by a long succession of Khmer builder kings, there now remain only ruins. Ruins which reveal the architectural genius, the grandeur, the glory of the vanished Khmer Empire. Even now, in their decay, the monuments stand, unsurpassed in their artistry and architecture, the proud legacy of the present-day Khmers, the wonder and admiration of the modern world. The heavenly Apsaras still smile their enigmatic smiles as they dance on the lotus blossoms on the cracking walls of Angkor. They depict postures and gestures that their earthly counterparts in Cambodia have miraculously preserved despite the passage of centuries. From the sovereign down to the common people, the descendants of the ancient Khmers treasure their traditions. The dancers are a part of these traditions. Thus, at the Royal Palace in Phnom Penh, under the personal supervision of Her Majesty the Queen, royal dancers continue to perform. The dances are still taught, just as they were long ago. Aspirants to the Royal Ballet Corps start their training at an early age. The chief ballet mistresses assign the parts to be played by each student. It may be that of a king, a queen, prince, princess, divinity, giant, ogress, or any of the characters of the Indian classic, the Ramayana, or of the Cambodian legends. Whatever the role, the chief ballet mistresses base their choices on the physical type of the student. For a beginning, the basic postures and gestures are painstakingly taught the little novices. In time, the ballet mistresses will teach them the various dance movements, then entire parts. But years will have passed. The little apprentices will have grown into mature girls before they fully acquire the ability to move through the complicated postures and gestures gracefully, without effort. A gesture that is easy to understand, but which requires much practice to execute with grace, is the Anjali salutation. It signifies adoration, homage, worship, respect. In its simpler form, it is the gesture of greeting used by the Khmers in everyday life. Fluid grace and extraordinary flexibility of the joints are requisites for a royal dancer. To acquire them, the students regularly exercise for suppleness. The natural suppleness of youth comes to the aid of the students in these complicated, difficult exercises. Most of the themes for the dances were derived from the Indian epic, the Ramayana. In the Ramayana, Sita, the wife of Prince Rama, was abducted by the giant, Ravana. Hanuman, the monkey god, and his army of monkeys aided Prince Rama to rescue the beautiful Sita. For the future roles of Hanuman and the members of his mischievous horde, male dancers are trained early in life. Except for a few male dancers who play the animal and comic roles, all the characters, whether male or female, are assumed by female dancers. Notwithstanding the charming legend about its celestial origin, the Cambodian dance had its beginning in the ceremonial dances of India. In the course of time, the Khmers imprinted upon them the marks of their own culture, their personality and artistic taste, making the dances, the postures and gestures the unique creation of their genius. Most of the teachers are retired dancers, but young women still dancing in the Royal Ballet Corps help out also with the training of tomorrow's artists. The legs and feet have their delicate interpretive roles to play in Cambodian dancing. However, all the major expressions are left to the hands. No effort, patience, skill, and expense is spared in the preparation of the dancers' costumes. Threads of gold and silver abound. The unbelievable attention to details displayed by the ancient sculptors in the decorative sculptures of Angkor is evident in the fanciful designs and adornments of these colorful costumes. A born twin to the dance, the masks, or the art of making them, have outlived the 1,000 years. They will last as long as the ballet endures, for they are essential to the royal dance. Making the masks is one of the traditional arts taught at the École des Beaux-Arts. It is there where the masks of the royal dancers are made. Although the female roles do not use them, most of the male roles require masks to represent the characters depicted. The most expensive item of the dancer's costume, the makut, or crown, is usually made of gold. Anger, sadness, entreaty, appeasement, love, and on through the whole gamut of human emotions, all these can be expressed by the gestures in Cambodian dancing. Sometimes the gestures are easy to understand. At times they require careful thought and study. But easy or hard, the gestures are done with the exquisite poetry and grace born of years of rigid discipline and ceaseless practice. A prince pays court to a princess, and his amorous advances are rejected with gestures that were created centuries ago. Each gesture and posture are practiced rigorously, severely, exactly. Not even a full-fledged dancer is permitted to introduce her own innovations or deviate even a mite from the fixed, age-old patterns handed down by the apsaras. Like custodians of a priceless heirloom, and the Cambodian dance is a priceless heirloom, the teachers watch sharply, quick to rectify. Even after they have attained full stature as royal dancers, the members of the Royal Ballet Corps, like all true artists, keep regular rehearsals. Waving canes in lieu of the jeweled swords they use in actual performances, two dancers practice the epic encounter between Prince Rama and the many-headed giant Ravana. In the end, goodness triumphs over evil. The hero of the Ramayana vanquished the giant who had abducted his beautiful wife, Sita. In a real performance with glittering, colorful costumes and the fearsome mask of Ravana, the combat becomes a fantastic duel in a fairy tale world. In the olden days, royal dancers performed in the half-clad fashion of the legendary apsaras. His Majesty, King Ong Dong Harirak Uriamea, who reigned from 1841 to 1860, commanded full costumes for the dancers. In themselves, the jewelry and costumes are worth a fortune. Gold, silver, diamonds, and other precious stones ornament the costumes of brocade, lame, or silk of each principal character. The various jewelry worn by the dancers are also made and repaired at the École des Beaux-Arts. These again, like the postures and gestures and the masks, are a part of the tradition of the dance. Each piece of jewelry is a replica in design of the ornaments worn by the stone apsaras of Angkor. Teachers and dancers never take a projected performance lightly. There is always a rehearsal, where the ballet mistresses make certain that all the gestures and movements are executed correctly. A charming number enacts the legend of the hermit who forgot his vows. 4 kinari, mythical creatures, half woman and half bird, flew down from the clouds to pick some flowers in the forest. 2 monstrous spiders attacked the sisters. Now in this forest dwelled a hermit, faithful in his practice and adherence to the sacred precepts. He had withdrawn from the noisy world in order to give himself up to deep meditations, undisturbed, when who should see him but the kinari. The irreverent creatures complained to the hermit about the spiders. They urged him to kill the monsters. The ascetic replied, no, he could not do that. His way of life forbade killing any living creatures, however evil. The sisters refused to be discouraged. They put their pretty heads together to plot. The kinari gone, the hermit returned to his old place in the forest. Once more was he engaged in profound meditation, when behold, there came the kinari again, but this time bringing their youngest sister, Rat Vadai, a charming creature, more mischievous than her older sisters. Humbly, the kinari begged his forgiveness for disturbing his holy meditations. They assured him that they understood his refusal to kill the spiders. As proof that they held no resentment against him, they were giving him their youngest and prettiest sister to serve him.
Fine con.
Mượn tay.
Fine con lục ta.
Đấy. Là men. Là nào ơi, mà riêu sắp bay tầm không.
Ta muốn lắp pin piang chạp ta lục ta.
Thế, cả sầm lắp mà plei thì vẫn dừng dây kia ở đằng đà đài sân. Vì vô tập kiên mà thái vừa đại khả rồi.
Cần na kê lục ta hóa ngay vậy này bừng hờ.
Chẳng ơi, từ nơi đường tái bừng rờ ta.
Đam tay dục lan chụp bạch cuộn na lục ta.
Từ nơi đường tái bừng rờ ta, ngay đam tay dục thư ta say ta xuống ta say bẻ đôn ta xuống ta xin dạ.
Alas, poor guileless hermit. The fluttering wings of love beat dizzyingly against his face, blinding his eyes, confusing his mind, chasing all austere thoughts therefrom. Forgotten were all his somber meditations, forgotten the sacred precepts.
Ta tới là lưu từ là lưu từ là lưu từ men từ là lưu ui chân à từ là lưu.
Like all lovers since time eternal, the hermit sought to please his love. He gallantly promised to slay the spiders.
Từ sân mình trong ruồi cho mong là rồi lúc anh lay cái nó từ sân mình trong ruồi tê.
Mà giờ con nghe từ lâu ơi lúc xa.
His search led him to one of the creatures.
Tay hao lắm anh ơi. Nó khôi men đấy ta.
Hãy có sung ơi chạp mà đom bong ơi bom mà nòng pro ha ơi biên biên mày biên biên có rốt ơi đôi thật thấy ơi ấy xây xóm lắp ơi tôn ý bị
mùi phi bay này ngọt này ngọt tí slap bom slap cái tên suy anh bom tên suy tên hồi này qua đây cha hay.
He had killed a living creature, and he was proud of his deed. The scheming Kenari gave him praise.
Lục ta bạc cài mẹ.
Qua sna đầy ta đấy.
Lục ta bạc cài na lục ta.
Chân bạc cài chân.
Nhom cả na o bạc côm na hai. Nhom cả na thay côm lia hai lục ta.
Từ cho từng buôn nhãn tục từng niềng phơi nơi thay là xà tà ná.
Tết nhom cả na tay đai lục ta nhom cả na.
Đấy cái dây chân
lục ta.
mà nè.
Ta tê lục ta.
Nè vì vốt ban này tao sắm lắp pin piếng vì vốt là xây ai nữa nè.
Sắm lắp tết nhom cả na xoay.
Dây khay yang chẳng mình cá thế. Khóc nè chừng ai nè dây chẳng khóc nè chừng ai nè.
Having no more use for him, the ungrateful Kenari tried to fly away with their youngest sister, but the hermit was too quick.
Tôi chấp mà bản phim, ấy của tàu na nè.
Ta lên tay nhom cả na ta lục ta cầm chấp.
Thế ta lên hào tì rồi.
Nhom cả na ọt hai thế mấy nhom cả na khma bom ôn nhom cả na.
Chẳng thế mình khma bom ôn thế vậy.
Ta thông muốn tới mục ta lục ta.
Mình ấy thế.
Na tam khơi.
Và pan năng ấy. nó mong ta băng bay tôi phát khía nữa đừng phơi nữa rồi
khơi nhé xóm khía nữa
lấy cho tâm thếมึงai trung tạo thu bài đông tách mới mà giải
The hermit thought Ratfadai would remain his forever, but the deceitful creature slipped away when he wasn't looking.
Mọc cái nhà thằng mà ban và quân mình vừa lo na tự lập bình tiếng ban và quân mình đó cái nó tự bật mình nói tranh bao cái thằng mà.
The old man was left with the spider he had slain and the bitter realization that the Kinari had made a fool of him.
Ini menyangka mana wajah jikun neraca di jauh berkerau jamin tapi jam memang
With magic powder and prayer, he tried to bring back the spider to life. In vain. The enormity of his sin now broke full force upon him. Poor hermit. Men wiser than he in the ways of the world had been beguiled before by a pretty face. But this, in his inexperience, he could not know. All he knew was that he had betrayed the sacred precepts, the long years of prayers, of self-denial, of following the holy path. Throughout his life, he must bear the crushing burden of his broken vows. In a workroom under the Chanchaya, or rehearsal hall, craftsmen repair or make musical instruments for the Royal Palace Orchestra. In ancient times, earthly apsaras swayed to the accompaniment of cymbals, zithers, and the deep bass drum, or sakortom. The sakortom survived time and choice, but the cymbal and zither gradually disappeared from the orchestral ensemble. In their place, other instruments, mostly of Javanese origin, make their appearance. As with the dance, Cambodian music is an oral tradition handed down from teacher to pupil. The musical instruments, wrote a Chinese ambassador to the ancient Khmer court, render a clamorous music that charms the spirit. In the Cambodian royal dance, the musicians play to the dancers, keeping time to their movements, unlike in the Western dance, where the dancers follow the beat of the music.